Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Welcome back to the Apocalypse Live. It's Apocalypse. Apocalypse. Welcome to the Apocalypse. No, just kidding. Welcome back to the Two Witnesses Live. I'm your host, Watchful. And boy, things just continue to advance. I don't want to say escalate, but that's kind of what's happening. We got a pretty good show for you. We got some news here. We've got the daily Torment report, and then we're going to watch a video from Jonathan Cahn, which does a masterful job of tying together the events and how they fit prophetically in a way that I haven't heard so far. So I think that'll bless everybody to watch that. And let's jump into this. So let's start with a story that's dominating everything still. War in Iran, day 4 of the U.S.-Israel campaign. This has officially gone regional and is getting very serious. Overnight and into today, Iran launched retaliatory drone and missile strikes across the Gulf and beyond. We're talking explosions and fires at the U.S. Embassy compound in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, damage to an oil terminal in Fujairah, 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 and to Al Minhad Air Base in the UAE, plus reported incidents in Cyprus and Kuwait. Several countries are pushing to reinforce the area. France has already deployed fighter jets to the UAE. The UK is sending a warship to Cyprus, and both are bolstering defenses for their Gulf partners. On the flip side, U.S. and Israeli strikes inside Iran continued through the night. Targets in Tehran included presidential administration buildings, the Supreme National Security Council, and even a site connected to the process of choosing a new supreme leader. They also hit the entrances to the Natanz nuclear facility, no radiation leak reported so far, and multiple other military and security sites. Iranian Red Crescent has now reported 787 dead inside Iran and thousands wounded. On the Israel, I wonder if the Ayatollah was killing 30 to 40 to 70,000 of their own people. How are they accurately counting who the dead are in this situation? Because it would seem to me that they'd have I don't know, maybe they're efficient at eliminating bodies, but it would seem to me that they'd have a hard time getting rid of bodies. And how do you differentiate between the ones that they were murdering right before we came in and started to liberate the Iranian people? Just a thought. On the Israeli-Lebanon border, Israeli forces launched a ground offensive into southern Lebanon after Hezbollah rocket and drone attacks. They've captured several border positions, and dozens have been killed in the fighting. President Trump spoke on the situation earlier today and said the campaign could last weeks or longer if we need it, adding that the hardest hits are still ahead. Interesting. He also confirmed the strikes have deliberately targeted people who could become Iran's next leaders. So far, at least 6 U.S. service members have been killed in action. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the whole operation is preemptive, protecting U.S. forces from threats coming from both Iranian and certain Israeli leadership circles. Ripple effects are everywhere. Oil prices are spiking hard because of fears over the Strait of Hormuz. Hopefully some of you went and got a Tesla when I told you to get a Tesla, or recommended a Tesla, because from what I understand, they're already booked out on the Cybertruck. Like, people recognize what's coming. Gas prices are going to be crazy, so you're either going to want a Prius or a Tesla, and preferably a Tesla so that you can charge it. Well, Tesla or any electric vehicle, honestly. Anything that can get you somewhere on gas. Otherwise, you may be left to a bicycle. Gas prices are already climbing at the pump here in the States. Air travel across the entire Middle East is chaos. And yes, even the 2026 FIFA World Cup in North America is suddenly facing some very real uncertainty. Quick note on Europe: France, Germany, and the UK put out a joint statement today offering defensive action only to protect Gulf partners. The UK has quietly let the US use its bases in Cyprus and possibly Diego Garcia. France has jets in the UAE and says they're ready to defend Jordan and the Gulf states, but they're very clear they are not joining offensive strikes on Iran itself. Fair enough. Iran has already warned Europe, especially those three countries, that any involvement will be considered an act of war and threatened strikes on European cities. Greece and Jordan are playing purely defensive roles for now, and Canada has publicly said it supports regime change in Tehran, but is not sending any military help. All right, let's shift to domestic news. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee today in what can only be described as a fiery hearing. Republicans like Tom Tillis, and John Kennedy went after her just as hard as the Democrats did. Immigration enforcement, recent shootings involving DHS officers in Minneapolis, funding problems, the whole thing. It was pretty rough. On the immigration front, the 287G program, those local federal partnerships have exploded. We went from about 140 agreements at the end of Trump's first term to 1,493 active agreements across 40 states right now. Some states are fighting back hard. Maryland just passed emergency legislation trying to ban them. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison filed a lawsuit today against HHS and CMS, saying that Trump administration illegally withheld $243 million in Medicaid funds. Not illegally, not if you've been stealing it and supporting those stealing it for the last decade. He said it could force cuts to health care for low-income families. I imagine a lot of these states, and they've been finding fraud in a lot of states. I imagine a lot of them are suffering because of the fraud. You know, if you have people funneling money out of your state, and then as a stopgap to stop the bleeding, the government cuts off the funding, that's obviously going to put the state in a hardship for those who were, those who really needed the funds. They're going to suffer, and the states are going to respond by probably getting the money from the people in the state, which is really unfortunate. So woe to the people of Minnesota and those other states where the fraud is occurring that the government is cutting off. Other quick hits: the Fed issued prohibition orders against 2 former bank employees caught embezzling. The Society of Architectural Historians is pushing back hard against the White House East Wing ballroom renovation, saying it will permanently damage the historic landmark. And 3 sales executives pleaded guilty in a $500 million investment fraud case in New York. Why are they pushing back now? The Society of Architectural Historians are pushing back now. Oh, and if you were up early this morning, you probably saw the total lunar eclipse, the blood moon. I missed it. I fell asleep. I tried so hard to stay up, and I just zonked out. It's getting harder to stay up late in my old age. I hear it was stunning and was visible across most of the country. The next one visible in America isn't until 2029. So this one was kind of special, and the timing of it also kind of special. All right, the rest of the world really quick. Europe, let's see. French President Macron gave a major speech today announcing France is expanding its nuclear warhead stockpile for the first time in decades. His line, "To be free, we have to be feared." UK Chancellor Reeves delivered the spring statement. Growth forecast for 2026 slashed to just 1.1%, which is not great. Over in Asia, Cambodia and Thailand are being urged by the UN to settle their border dispute peacefully. Singapore is dealing with major chaos. and extra costs for citizens whose flights got canceled because of the Middle East airspace closures. And just for fun, the big Western production of the musical Death Note is coming to London's Barbican this summer. Brand new script. I don't know what that is. That is it for right now for our news. Now let's get into our daily torment reports.
Through trials faced, through testing days, you've kept my word, walked in my ways. Though strength was small, you held your ground. The door I've opened cannot be bound. They turned away, they closed their eyes, but I have written what none denies. Through fleeting fear and fleeting shame, you stood for truth, upheld my name. Hold fast, your crown is sure. The door I've opened will stand secure. A pillar raised in the temple of my God, forever sealed, forever strong.
That line about upholding the name is really interesting because the whole idea behind the Gog Magog war, the Ezekiel 38 war, is so that God's name will be upheld and glorified, so that people will know the God of Israel is the God of the earth. Very cool stuff, man. It's all coming together. Everything is connected, and the Bible is real. God is real. Jesus is the Messiah, and we can expect that he will return very soon, but not before the appointed time. There's definitely an appointed time. I was thinking about seal number 5 and how this seal was different in that it seemed to have just marked a transition from seal number 4, which was the Al-Aqsa flood and what happened with Israel. That was basically bringing a close to that event, to where now they're transitioning into the defeating the enemies of Israel, defeating God's enemies, really. And if that pattern holds true, then seal number 6, nothing may happen on that day. What's interesting about those first 4 seals is the each one had each one had a living creature saying, "Come and see," which implied that something was meant to be observed on the day of those seals being opened. But the last 3 don't have a living creature saying, "Come and see." So we know the pattern. We know what to look for. It's no longer necessary for something to say, "Come and see," to where now it's just marking the transition, to where the seal opening is marking the transition. Now we've marked the transition into judgment, into the Great Tribulation, which it's shaping up to look like that Great Tribulation is judgment being poured out on God's enemies, which is, yay, the best kind of tribulation. Unfortunately, it may bring with it pressure, and it may be a hard time for a period of time, and we have to remember that we've got to love one another during this time. If you have a brother or sister who's struggling in the days ahead, don't be afraid to help them out. Don't be afraid to if you've got the excess resources, don't be afraid to help out. I think it's definitely going to be most important during this time that those who are naked, destitute, in prison, hungry, that we make sure that we're taking care of one another during the days ahead. It's probably going to be important. And if you happen to have a Tesla, maybe do some carpooling, because your buddies who have gas vehicles may not be driving too far if gas prices continue to skyrocket, which is a very strong possibility. We can see the writing on the wall, so to speak, that gas prices are kind of the first casualty of this war in the United States, so to speak. Yeah. But my point being with that is it's entirely possible that August 12th, 2026, that eclipse, which marks the opening of seal number 6, may not be the day that the Earth, the magnetic pole shifts. And I like that because then it gives time to get into the next festival. See, like this seal number 5 opened. Nothing really super eventful happened until what was 11 days after that. So the seal opened on February 17th, and then February 28th, right before Purim, the feast of Purim, Haman was attacked. We went in, and justice was brought on Haman, so to speak. You'll understand more when we watch Jonathan Cahn's video. But basically, Haman hanged himself. Haman was hanged. And it could be similar. Seal number 6 could be relatively uneventful. I imagine we'll probably know because the fear coming on the whole world. There will probably be signs. There will probably be indications. There may even be announcements from the U.S. to get to your bunkers, get into your underground. The Earth, something is happening on the Earth that we've never experienced before. But it would be interesting to see seal number 6 open, and then we make it to the Festival of Trumpets. Boy, wouldn't that just be the perfect package? Because the Revelation 12:1 and 2 sign opens on the Festival of Trumpets. So wouldn't it be interesting if the magnetic pole shift on the earth happened at the Festival of Trumpets, and that also happened to be when Jesus returns in the clouds to gather the elect from the earth? Anyway, just some pre-thoughts before we get into our daily torment report here on Donald Trump. Let's start a timer so we don't go too long. Cap it at 30 minutes. I don't think it's going to take 30 minutes. Alrighty. Who knows? Let's see. So, since the launch of Operation Epic Fury, more than 9,000 Americans have safely returned home from the Middle East. If you are a U.S. citizen in the Middle East and you want to come home, please register with the State Department at step.state.gov. Well, that's kind. The department will identify where you are and provide travel options to you. We are already chartering flights free of charge and booking commercial options, which we expect will become increasingly available as time goes on. U.S. citizens may also call the 24/7 State Department Task Force at 1-202-501-4444. Isn't that nice? Better than leaving you stuck somewhere with a war going on. That's pretty cool. There you go. What is this? Posted 1 hour ago. Letters at New York Post push back. Pushback and something for Trump's Iran. President Trump will be remembered as the greatest foreign policy president in American history. Fury unleashed on the Ayatollah March 1st, where previous presidents have stood by, or in case of Barack Obama, facilitated Iran, while it financed terror worldwide and worked to develop a nuclear bomb. Trump has identified and eradicated the existential threat. Like Winston Churchill, Trump is saving the United States and Western civilization from murderous madmen. This looks like it was like something that they printed out on the plane and handed it to him. Like, here, sir, this is something you might be interested in reading. And then he like took his phone and took a snapshot of it and posted on Trump's Truth Social. That's pretty good. By the way, darn it. How do we get back? Go back. There we go. That is the same thing he penned. Is that Mom Donnie? Ugh. Zoran has come a long way embracing, of course, the Declaration of Independence while at the Oval Office. Big progress, President Donald J. Trump. Was Mom Donnie in the White House again today? Okay. Hey, I'm all for people changing. I stand with Trump, the most badass president of all time. Indeed, he is the GOAT. I'm going to mark that with a love. 2 hours ago, what a historic sight. 53 million total State of the Union views across all platforms. Yeah. It's gonna be a meme day. Are we in a are we in a thread? Nope, we're in the main timeline. Apparently he's memeing today. Brooke Rollins, my mom running for re-election tonight. This is my sister at a polling place. Rural America loves their president. Trump endorsed re-elect Helen Kerwin, conservative Republican, for state representative in Texas. There's an endorsement. We're going to skip the endorsements. The Genius Act is being threatened and undermined by the banks, and that is unacceptable. We are not going to allow it. The U.S. needs to get market structure done ASAP. Americans should earn more money on their money. The banks are hitting record profits, and we are not going to allow them to undermine our powerful crypto agenda that will end up going to China and other countries if we don't get the Clarity Act taken care of. Um, the Genius Act was the USA's first big step to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. And getting the Clarity Act done is the next step to finishing the job, and most importantly, keep this big and powerful industry in our country. The banks should not be trying to undercut the Genius Act or hold the Clarity Act hostage. They need to make a good deal with the crypto industry because that's what's in best interest. That's okay. Sentence structure. That is what is in the best interest of the American people. There, I fixed it for you. This industry cannot be taken from the people of America when it is so close to being truly successful. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Effective immediately, I have ordered all United States Development Finance Corporation, DFC, to provide at a very reasonable price political risk insurance and guarantees for the financial security of all maritime trade, especially energy, traveling through the Gulf. Interesting. This will be available to all shipping lanes if necessary. The United States Navy will begin escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible. No matter what, the United States will ensure the free flow of energy to the world. Huh. The United States economic and military might is the greatest on earth. More actions to come. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Well, maybe I spoke prematurely. Maybe you don't need to have a Tesla, and maybe gas prices won't go absolutely insane. Cool. Hey, I can be wrong. It's all right. I ain't got no problem being wrong. That's how you learn. The more wrong I am, the more right I am. That's the truth. The more you screw up, the more you get things wrong, the more wisdom you gain because you learn all the different ways that don't work. Then when somebody comes along and says, I want to do XYZ, and you go, I've tried that, didn't work. Here's what you do instead. The United States munition stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better. As was stated to me today, we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successfully using just these supplies, which are better than other countries' finest arms. At the highest end, we have a good supply, but are not where we want to be. Much additional high-grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries. Sleepy Joe Biden spent all of his time and our country's money giving everything to P.T. Barnum, Zelensky of Ukraine. Oh my God, there are so many levels to that P.T. Barnum comments. So, the ringleader of the circus, P.T. Barnum, is also famous for Barnum statements, which are those statements which are used in order to, they're called hot and cold reading techniques. They're called Barnum statements, statements that are so generic they can apply to anything. Giving everything to P.T. Barnum Zelensky of Ukraine. So I guess he doesn't think very highly of Zelensky. hundreds of billions of dollars worth. And while he gave so much of the super high end away for free, he didn't bother to replace it. Fortunately, I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so. The United States is stocked and ready to win big. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Barnum Zelensky. That's pretty good. I love that. Let's see. Have unlimited mid to upper tier weaponry. Brutal stuff. Wall Street Journal story was wrong and a disgrace. Let's see, from Mark Thiessen, as important as what Trump is doing is how he's doing it. With Operation Epic Fury, we are witnessing the birth of a new doctrine to guide U.S. global leadership in the 21st century, the Trump doctrine. Okay. We don't need to read these. Let's see, Donald and Melania Trump go on the Ellen Show to celebrate their engagement. Blah. Okay. If you insist. This is years ago. No sound?
And Melania, you're now engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's very exciting. That's all I got you is that little tiny thing right there on your finger? Look at the size of that. How many carats is that?
I don't know. I never think about it.
You don't think about carats?
No.
I bet you
About other things.
do. I bet you know exactly how many carats.
I do, actually.
See.
Yeah, I thought it was good. But anyway, so next question.
And where did you two meet?
We met in New York. It was a fashion week, and it was a big party, so we met there.
And now he comes over and says what?
He came over and he said, what did you say? I think he said,
give me your number immediately. I want your phone number, which is very crude, but
Yeah.
sometimes it works.
It's just that easy?
It's very direct.
I want your phone number?
No, it's very direct.
Yeah.
And you either get slapped or you get the number. In her case, I didn't get slapped, I didn't get the number. I worked on it for about a month, and then finally I was able to find
Really?
out
Yes.
where she lived and everything.
Person as a man, what's the best thing about him?
he's a man.
And what's the worst thing about him?
God, that music
the worst thing.
is so loud.
What are you doing, First Lady? Oh, look at you. Is this the greatest First Lady? People
I think
love
she is the
our
greatest First Lady.
Look at her. How elegant is the First Lady? Look at her.
I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Oh, what a cute couple.
I would like to thank my husband, America's director, Donald Trump.
Oh.
Soon we'll be 30 years old. Our songs have been sold. We've traveled around the world and we're still roaming. Soon we'll be 30 years old. I'm still learning about life. My woman brought children for me, so I can sing them all my songs and I can tell them stories. Most of my boys are with me, some are still out seeking glory, and some I had to leave behind. My brother, I'm still
First Lady, you know what First Lady of the United States.
Oh my God.
Everybody knows this is, as you know, Navy 1, by the way, for the day. Only for the day. But one day it's Navy 1, like Air Force 1, this is Navy 1. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
It's a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger, pushing each other to the
Could there be a
limits.
better
We were
couple?
learning quicker. By 11, smoking herb and drinking burning liquor. Never rich, so we were out to make that
They're just
steady
adorable.
figure. Once I was a
She
little
almost looks too good for
years
him.
old, my daddy told me, go get yourself a wife for you.
She's like a 12 and he's like a 6. She's like twice as good.
I always had that dream like my daddy before me, so I started writing songs.
Well, I guess billions of dollars will make up the difference, eh? And being a manly man. Trump is the GOAT. Greatest of all time. His daddy raised him right. I'll tell you what, both his biological dad and God, because he was definitely raised for a day like today. That's, make no mistake. Dude's got cojones and a good woman behind him. All right, get all on him, Brandon. What?
How many days after Kevin McCarthy was sworn in as Speaker did you subpoena his records?
I don't recall, but those two things had nothing to do with one.
It was 16 days after becoming the highest-ranking Republican in the House of Representatives. You subpoenaed his toll records. Do you agree that that might reasonably be considered a violation of the speech or debate clause?
Oh, wow. Okay. I had a completely different idea of what was going on here. So when it said get all on him, Brandon, I was thinking of the let's go, Brandon, for the F Joe Biden. So that has nothing to do with this. This is apparently Brandon Gill torches Jack Smith to his face after exposing his illegal spying. Yes, judgment will be served.
I do not, and I want to be clear that the toll
You were collecting months' worth of phone data on the Republican Speaker of the House, the leader of the opposition, right after he got sworn in as Speaker, all around the time of a major vote. That sounds like a flagrant violation of the speech or debate clause to me, and I think most people agree with me. And Speaker McCarthy had no recourse, did he? Because you issued a non-disclosure order ensuring that neither he nor any of the American people knew about these subpoenas. Is that right?
The toll record, the non-content toll record subpoenas, we did secure non-disclosure orders for those subpoenas.
You did, and let me ask you, Mr. Smith, at the time you secured those non-disclosure orders, was Speaker McCarthy a flight risk?
The non-disclosure order was based on concerns about
Was Speaker McCarthy a flight risk?
He was not.
He was not. Then why did your non-disclosure order refer to him as a flight risk? It says right here, the court finds reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure will result in flight from prosecution.
Sir, when securing a non-disclosure order, the risks don't have to be associated.
You think that the Speaker of the House is a flight risk?
The question?
No, this is not your time. This is my time. You think the Speaker of the House is a flight risk? You think he's going to hop on a plane and leave the country?
No, what I was trying to explain is with respect to a non-disclosure order, the risks aren't necessarily associated with the subscriber to the phone. They're the risks to the investigation.
I think that you were using, this was clearly in reference to Speaker McCarthy, and you were using clearly false information to secure a non-disclosure order to hide from Speaker McCarthy and from the American people the fact that you were spying on his toll records. But I've got more, so let's move on. In May of 2023, you also issued subpoenas for toll records of 9 U.S. senators and an additional representative. Is that right?
In May of 23, we did issue...
You did, and there were non-disclosure orders in conjunction with those subpoenas as well.
This is one of the reasons why it takes so darn long to prosecute high-level individuals, is because of stuff like this, to where it is a grueling process to get to the truth, especially when you have people answering with non-answers. It's the most annoying thing about these. They can't just simple yes or no. You can try and mandate them. It's a yes or no question, and they still won't answer it.
All right.
That's correct, consistent with department policy and the law.
So again, nobody would know what you were doing. The senators would, and the representatives would, and the American people wouldn't know what you were doing. Is that right?
The toll records that we secured and the non-disclosure orders were consistent with policy and consistent.
And you knew whenever you were doing that there was a risk you were violating the speech or debate clause. Is that right?
The toll record subpoenas that we secured were with the concurrence of the public integrity.
Your own analysis says that you knew there was a risk you were violating the speech or debate clause. I have it right here. This is an email from John Keller at Public Integrity Section to your team. As you are aware, quote, as you are aware, there is some litigation risk regarding whether compelled disclosure of toll records of a member's legislative calls violates the speech or debate clause in the D.C. Circuit. That's from your own analysis right there. Mm-hmm. So you did know, didn't you?
Sir, with respect to the item you just put up on the screen, the last sentence states...
we're going to get to the last sentence.
Okay.
We're going to get to the last sentence. And You cite case law in here, quote, the bar on compelled disclosure is absolute. Is that right, or do you think that you didn't have to abide by that precedent?
To be clear, this statement is not from my office. This is the statement
This
of
is
public
this is your
integrity.
justification for those subpoenas and NDOs that you ordered. This was part of your analysis. It's a cursory analysis. I think it's worth noting. But let's get to that last sentence then. Quote, given my understanding of the low likelihood that any of the members listed below would be charged, the litigation risk should be minimal here. In other words, you're using a novel legal theory, which you knew was novel, has never been tested by any court. You're not charging any of these members. Nobody's going to know about it because you issued NDOs. Nobody's going to sue about it, so who cares? We're going to do it anyways. I mean, you walked all over the Constitution throughout this entire process.
You know, what's interesting about this is there is a parallel to God and his creation and why it's taken us, 6,000 years to get to where we are today, to where the head of the serpent is finally being bruised. And I think that's what we're witnessing is the head of the serpent. Fury sent me today an email with an interesting perspective on Revelation 12. That's the 12, 3, and 4 sign, where the dragon's tail drew a third of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. Yesterday, I had mentioned that I don't really talk about that sign all that often because there's not really a lot that I've found associated on that day. But a lot of stuff happened after this particular time. And a lot of it is it's just where we are today. It's she gave me a list. I'm not going to read them. Maybe we'll get into it another day. But sometimes it's not the sign itself that is relevant or the thing on that particular day, but what precedes is what she said, which is an amazing insight. Something that I get stuck in my head looking for events on the particular day and then just hyper focus on it and can't see beyond that in a lot of cases. And she was able to actually see beyond it and found there was quite a lot of things that happened in 2022. And what reminded me of this is the legal proceedings. So God is a God who doesn't change. God is a God who abides by his own laws. He's the same today, yesterday, and forever. And when he says something, he means it, and he always makes it good. He's he's almost like a lawyer in that it takes time to collect evidence. You need witnesses. There's a lot of terminology in the scripture about like witnesses and testimony. And it's almost as if Satan was, working within God's laws, but it took time to build the case against him to finally bring the judgment down and convict him. And that's exactly what's going on. And, the impatient of those who were martyred, and then as they were testifying to Jesus and Jesus himself, who was crucified. Just interesting, the connections legally. And, there's definitely parallels to our legal system, which is based on the Old Testament, believe it or not. Charlie Kirk used to talk about that a lot. All right, moving on. He looks absolutely defeated. Lock him up.
Let me ask you this. Am I on this list? Did you target my records and subpoena my phone toll records?
My understanding is your records were subpoenaed by prosecutors before I became special counsel.
Well, staff would put this up on the screen. I'm thankful for the great staff who discovered the email where I learned for the first time a few weeks ago that my phone records were indeed targeted. We called AT&T and we've learned that they were given to the Department of Justice, as this email indicates, because I've been in communication with Scott Perry, one of my colleagues here in Congress, who literally had his phone taken from him in front of his family. And of course, we've already talked about in this document, it talks about you could be in violation of the privilege by even obtaining and possessing this information if the member objected to the disclosure. This happened 4 years ago in May of 2022, and I couldn't object because I didn't know.
May of 2022. The Revelation 12:3 and 4 sign was in June 15th, 2022.
I didn't know until about 3 weeks ago. My question here is, was there any limits to your investigation or the investigation that preceded you, Mr. Smith? Because as egregious as a violation of separation of powers this is, as an egregious and abuse of power it is, it's far more concerning you are clearly targeting American citizens for merely being conservative or supporting the president. We've got memos that we've already been talking about in this hearing from April 2022 that preceded you that established and opened the investigations, one of which has Attorney General Merrick Garland's signature on it. And the focus was the electors. Now, that was 6 months before you were appointed. You testified earlier, you met and interviewed Merrick Garland and Deputy AG Lisa Monaco, and you briefed the AG and Deputy multiple times. Did you brief them on the electors and the prosecution of their supposed crimes?
I'm sorry.
Did you brief them on the electors and their supposed crimes?
I don't recall specific conversations, but I'm sure that in the course of briefing them, I discussed...
Wasn't that the purpose of the entire investigation as it was set out? Because putting aside that in 1960, as we already talked about, my friend Mr. Tiffany, that Hawaii put forward an alternate slate of electors, the investigation pivoted to President Trump and, frankly, anybody who knew him. Do you know who Cleta Mitchell is?
Yes, I do.
She's an election lawyer that was involved in filing an election contest on behalf of President Trump in Georgia in December of 2020. A 64-page complaint with over 1,100 pages of exhibits, witness affidavits, and expert witness reports documenting thousands of votes cast in violation of Georgia law, but which were nevertheless included in the vote totals. Now, notwithstanding the disposition of the cases that was filed, is that a criminal act? Filing an election contest on behalf of a candidate for office, a client. Is that a criminal act, yes or no?
No, in fact, we
stated... So why did you deem it appropriate to monitor Cleta Mitchell's long-distance phone records in 2023, 2.5 years after the election contest was filed and after the presidential electors were certified? What about Jenna Ellis? What about Sidney Powell? What about Bill Sepien? What crime did you suspect had been committed by them that would warrant monitoring their phone records 2.5 years after the 2020 election was certified?
Answer carefully.
With respect to Sidney Powell,
he's not going to answer.
She is one of the co-conspirators alleged in the indictment. I don't know what you mean by monitoring, sir, if you're talking...
Well, there were some 400-plus Republican conservative groups and leaders who were targeted by your investigation. Their financial records were obtained, records of the RNC, the Trump campaign, Cleta Mitchell, the Conservative Partnership Institute, the America First Policy Institute, NRCC, NRSC, PACs, conservative groups, people all across the country, citizens, because we hear a lot about members of Congress. And we should, because of separation of powers and the egregious abuse of power. But what we're not talking about enough, in my opinion, are the American citizens that have been targeted. Because frankly, are there any limits to the power of a special prosecutor or special counsel? So much so in your abuse of power that in the summer of 2024, the indictment involving classified documents was dismissed after determining your appointment violated the Appointments Clause of the Constitution, but you continued to sign your name on court filings until the time you resigned from office in January of 2025. A federal judge just recently stated a prosecutor who continues to sign his name in court filings after a disqualification order should face disciplinary action or disbarment. I yield back.
I like watching those. I love the to watch the back and forth. It's interesting that this was in regards to 2022, and it's kind of been a part of our topic with the sign and what it meant. Very interesting. That's just a copy. Let's see. The United States munition stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better. We already read that. 23 hours ago, American elections are rigged, stolen, and a laughing stock all over the world. We're either going to fix them or we won't have a country any longer. I am asking all Republicans to fight for the following: the Save America Act. All voters must show ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. Word. And I think we already watched this yesterday.
Now, there are many, many reasons to end the Iranian regime. Take out their nuclear capability, take out their missile building, their terror financing, their entire military. But at the end of the day, I believe President Trump's epic fury is about restoring civilized value and civilized behavior in the Middle East. My friend Conrad Black, writing in the New York Sun, puts it this way. Let me quote. The world's foremost terrorism-sponsoring state is about to cease to exist, and the war on terror that was unofficially launched on September 11th, 2001, in the ashes of the World Trade Center, will substantially be won. Well done.
Yeah, we already watched that yesterday. Let us move on. Reset the timer to Elon Musk. All right, expanding to the stars, avoid risk. Okay, that's from yesterday too. Here, let me refresh this just to make sure we've got the most recent. Expanding to the stars avoids risks of a mouse utopian behavioral sink. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. From Nick Cruz, Ford CEO Jim Farley in a new interview says he realized Ford had been doing EVs all wrong after his team ripped apart a Tesla. When we ripped apart a Tesla, I was just absolutely flabbergasted. The Mach-E's wiring harness was 70 pounds heavier and 1.6 kilograms longer, or kilometers longer. We didn't know what was going on in Tesla's engineer's mind, but now we understand. They had no prejudice. We had prejudice. We'd gone to our supply chain person and said, buy another wiring harness. Tesla said, let's design the vehicle for the slowest, smallest battery, totally different approach. I mean, that makes sense when you've been building cars. And this is such an interesting principle. When you've been doing something for so long, it's very easy to get tunnel vision on that particular thing. It's often helpful to either A, walk away and come back with a fresh perspective, or bring in somebody else who has absolutely no idea about what it is that you're doing, because they'll very likely introduce new ideas, new entropy into the pipeline in order to come up with different solutions. So you've got a car manufacturer who tried to do EVs and failed, which this is interesting because this is the case. This is a lot of different car manufacturers tried building, existing car manufacturers tried building electric vehicles, but all their supply chain was intended for internal combustion engines. And regulations, which they hadn't bothered to challenge in years, like 12 volt in a vehicle is a disaster. The wires are heavier. They require more wires. It adds a ton of weight. And because you have to run dedicated wires to everything. By switching to 48 volts, you can run 48 volts on a single wire and just have a bunch of things tap into that one single wire. So failing to come at it from a fresh perspective, I could totally understand why they failed. And what's sad about what's sad about this kind of situation is majority rule. You get all the car manufacturers trying to build an electric car, and then they say it's not economically feasible. And then you get somebody coming in who's never built cars before, who approaches it from a completely different perspective. He's the little guy. He's got an uphill battle the entire time, but ultimately he does succeed because he finds the things that work, and he has to invent new things. There's a lesson to be learned in there with, the small voice amongst the crowd. Just because the crowd is saying something is true does not make it true. Just because the crowd is saying something is false does not make it false. Sometimes it takes that one single voice to come in and go, well, what about this? How about this? Have you tried that? And that's true with that's very true when it comes to religion. There's 60,000 different denominations, but there is a general agreement on some doctrines to where they won't. It's so hard for them to go outside of that doctrine because it's what everybody agrees is the truth, such as the end time events, such as, and then they get this mentality of, oh, you're a date setter. Oh, and it's like they look down on people who are recognizing that the end time events are happening. Jesus told us these things. He told us these things ahead of time so that when they happen, we will believe. And when they start happening and you get the people recognizing it, it goes against the majority. You get the majority going, oh, no man knows the day or hour. This is taboo. We're not allowed to look at these things. Oh, you're looking at the stars. That one bit me in the butt. Oh, you're looking at the stars. That's witchcraft. You're trying to divine information using witchcraft. Are you kidding me? You're telling me the creator of the heavens and the earth, who set the sun, moon, and stars for signs, seasons, days, and years, that if I just observe them, I'm practicing witchcraft? Dude, what's wrong with you? What has gone wrong in your head that you have completely walked away from the creator of the heavens and the earth? You use the sun, moon, and stars to tell what month it is, to tell what day it is, to tell what hour it is. Granted, we have a lot of technology that fills in the gaps, but that's how that's the basis for how we know time, period. All time is based on the movement and of the sun, moon, and the stars and the earth. So it stands to reason that God would have appointed times marked in his system, his celestial clock. And then same thing, like antichrists, you get the predominant teaching on the antichrist, and if you say anything contrary, you're the idiot. But it blows my mind how many people talk about the Antichrist and have never actually read the frickin' verses. There's only 4 places where it's used, and it is so blatantly obvious that there are 3 to 4 attributes for the Antichrist, and yet the entire world believes that it's some dude who's going to be the end-time ruler. They're wrong. Read your Bible. Read it to understand it. So just because the majority believes something doesn't make it true. And that's one of the problems with these large language models is that's, in a lot of ways, that's how that's how Grok determines what is true, it seems, which is so dangerous, especially when it gets a lot of its training from X.com. I can see how it might get closer to the truth, because if you have a state sponsor like propaganda that is trying to push a narrative, but you have the majority of people going, wait a minute, maybe this is not a good idea. Like I could see that with like COVID and the vaccine and stuff like that, to where there was a definite narrative that you were not allowed to question, but there was a lot of voices speaking out, a lot of doctors, a lot of medical professionals that were speaking out. So I can understand how, in that situation, how like Grok would have been helpful to identify the truth from the error. But just because the majority believes something doesn't make it true. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Let's move on. I'm going to restart the clock for Elon because I kind of went on a tangent there. And we're only on the second post. All right, from Catherine Boyle, American Patriotism. What is this about?
July 1776 will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore. You will think me transported with enthusiasm, but I am not. I am well aware of the toil and blood and treasure that it will cost us to maintain this declaration and support and defend these states. Yet through all the gloom, I can see the rays of ravishing light and glory. I can see that the end is more than worth all the means, and that posterity will triumph in that day's transaction. Even although we should rue it, which I trust in God we shall not.
That was for a summit. I was like, man, that's an amazing video. Kind of gets you excited about being an American. But apparently that's the video for a summit. America, the 250 summit. Did that already happen? I remember Trump talking about going to the summit this year. Interesting. Well, great video. Responding to Hunter Ash, if you incentivize something, you get more of it. Surprise, surprise. Having a disability in and of itself is obviously bad. Saying you have one is beneficial. Some of the San Francisco homelessness problem. Same with the San Francisco homelessness problem. Gee, why does the city that's most accommodating to the homeless have so many homeless? Yeah, major fraud. I read somewhere that they get paid up to $500,000 to $1 million per homeless person, which is ridiculous. Doesn't surprise me, because you imagine that they're trying to invest in shelters and food and services, but then you get, I imagine there's greedy people in there diverting a lot of that cash into their own things, because clearly the homeless aren't receiving it. And that's one of the things that Kevin Dahlgren, which we haven't really shown any of his videos lately. I have a bunch of them stacked up that we need to watch. They're really good. Like, that's why he asks, has anybody come to you and ask you if you need assistance? Because that's what the state is supposed to be doing. They're receiving money to pay for homeless outreach, to put people on the pavement on a regular basis, offering assistance to the homeless. They're receiving money for it. And yet Portland, Seattle, LA, they have even Vancouver now has got massive homeless problems, to where there's nobody reaching out to them. That's one of the things that Kevin Dahlgren is exposing. It's just him and his small team that are going around and doing what they can. There's a couple of YouTubers that do it too. I'm very skeptical of the YouTubers. Number one, they make a boatload of money on it too. It's like homeless is a cash cow to people. Man, they're going to have to answer to God when, woe to you if you're using the homeless to get rich. If you're documenting their story and not really truly helping them, and then getting rich as a result of that, woe to you. How do you think Jesus is going to respond when he comes to you and he's separating the sheep from the goats? And he's saying, you'll be raising your hand going, I help the homeless. I help the homeless. And he's going to be like, yeah, how much money did you make on it? How many homeless did you really help? Or are you just doing it for the money? There's some major fraud involved in that. But at the same time, there's also really good people that are actually trying to help. And that is our motivation. That's what we should be doing, is honestly helping to reach out. And, and there's not a problem if you make money doing it. I'm not trying to say that you can't get rich helping people. I don't have a problem with making money or getting rich. I'm personally allergic to money. I should be a multimillionaire, but I keep screwing things up. Just because I don't really care that much about money. I care more about wisdom, unfortunately. And I don't care if you get rich in the service of others. But if that's your motivation and you're just taking advantage of them, your motivations are all wrong. I'm not very good at impressions, but I would do an impression right now if I could. Anyway, moving on. Let's see, 10 hours ago, in response to Rupert Lowe MP, another day, another stabbing. We need to get real. I am sick of it. We were all sick of it. This is not the Britain I want to live in. The British state needs to brutally crack down on knife crime. And I mean brutally. Brutally. That's exactly what Restore Britain wants to do. How many more children must die before action is taken? Enough is enough. Act now. Yes. Let's see. This is from SK Cartoon. It is It is only racist when applied to white people. Greenland is for Greenlanders only, and Europe is for Europeans only. Arrest her for hate speech. uh, yeah. Pedro Domingos. No income tax in history has ever stopped at just high earners. Very true. Very true. More on the 2016-2019 closure of the internet. In 2015, Reddit, like YouTube, had almost no content policy beyond banning illegal activity. Doxing, harassment, and involuntary or underage pornography by 2020, Reddit has purged political dissent from the site. Almost impossible to overstate how much freer and how much more vigorous discourse was on the internet a decade ago. Yeah. Unfortunately, we still live in a world where the serpent and evil spirits exists, and you may start with something that is completely free and get a better experience, enjoying freedom. But with that freedom comes evil. People are going to take advantage. They're going to come in and use it for their own purposes in order to spread evil. And the best thing we have is rules and policies and laws in order to stop evil. Until it's out of the world, that's an unfortunate reality. I effing love toast. What absolute genius took a bite of bread and was like, cook it again. I love those. Those are good. Greg Price. Abigail Spanberger's office has released a statement saying they still will not honor an ICE detainer against the illegal alien with 30 prior arrests who murdered 41-year-old Stephanie Minter in Fairfax last week. Instead, they demanded that ICE receive a signed judicial warrant before they'll turn him over to the feds. The problem with that is ICE can only get a judicial warrant if an illegal alien is being investigated for or commits a federal crime. This means that Abigail Spanberger is literally giving illegal aliens permission to commit more violent crimes against Virginians before she will work with the feds to deport them. Unheard of. Judgment is coming. Yeah, you will be judged. That's coming. Abigail Spanberger. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Mark my words. Netflix versus reality. Okay. Dr. Ricardo. Let's see. Oh, this is from yesterday. Is that all he posted? Oh, yeah. That's all he posted. Short day for Elon. All right. Well, let's move on to our next session. It's not really. What's that? Whoa. American bomber IRGC headquarters in Iran. Yikes. All right. This doesn't really fit a section because it's not addressing the house of Israel. It's not bruising the head of the serpent. What is this one? Because Jonathan Kahn already believes that Jesus is the Messiah. So not bruising. We need a new category. I guess you could call it addressing the house of Israel, but we need like a category of, like a study category. Like it would have been good to have a category for studying Esther last night, like a song and an intro and a start screen. I don't know what we'll call it. Just for a lack of anything else, we'll call it the addressing the house of Israel because I like this awake.
Awake, awake, O Zion, arise, shake off the dust, lift your eyes, the chains that bound you are broken at last. Your time of sorrow is now in the past. From darkness to light, you call me to shine. Your glory surrounds, your love is divine. No longer a captive, my soul takes its flight. O Lord, you lead me from darkness to light. How beautiful are the feet that proclaim peace to the weary, freedom in your name. The watchmen cry out, your God reigns, deliverance has come, Zion remains. From darkness to light, you call me to shine. Your glory surrounds, your love is divine. No longer a captive, my soul takes its flight. Oh Lord, you lead me from darkness to light. The ruins of Zion are singing again. Your holy arm is stretched over men. All nations will see salvation's bright flame. Babylon fades, but Zion remains. From ruins of Zion are singing again. Your holy arm is stretched over men. All nations will see salvation's bright flame. Babylon fades, but Zion remains.
You know, and that's exactly what's happening right now, is the things that are happening right now, which who would have thought the Great Tribulation is that the name of God would be elevated. I mean, we've read it for centuries, not that I'm centuries years old. We've read it for decades that God's name would be magnified, but who would have ever thought that it would go like this, that it would that this would be the day, and that this is how it would go, that God's name would be magnified. And you see that. You see people turning to God. You see people turning to Israel and supporting Israel. And you see also those who are standing against Israel, which woe to you who stands against Israel in this day and age, because judgment is being poured out. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And with that, let's listen to Jonathan Cahn lay this out and tie together how Purim and Esther and Gog Magog all tie together in a time such as this. Check it out.
Show you what CNN will never show you, what MSNBC would never tell you, what the New York Times has no idea of. I'm going to show you a secret, an ancient secret. And it's going to tell you, reveal the real story of what's happening behind everything that's going on in the world right now. The war with Iran, with America, with Israel, the Middle East. We're going to open up a whole other dimension. It's going to tell you what's really happening behind the news and the events of our world. You're going to want to stay tuned to the end, because I'm going to open up the mystery of why it happened, the mystery of when it happened, why it happened exactly at the time it did, the mystery of where it happened, the mystery of who it involved and why it involved them, and what it's really all about. This is Jonathan Cahn. What I'm about to show you, a lot of influencers in the anti-Israel, anti-Semitic world are not going to like, but it's amazing. People who don't believe in God are not going to like it. But I'm going to show you something. I'm even going to show you an ancient word that was appointed to be read around the world when all these things took place, and it was appointed before any of this ever happened. And what does it all mean, and where is it all going? Okay, we're going to open this up in a few moments. Now, first, some quick things and some updates I think you're going to be blessed with. Number one, I'm only posting these prophetic words and mysteries on this channel. So to make sure you don't miss it, just hit subscribe now, hit like, and to get this to others who need to know. And if you don't have the Dragon's Prophecy, which is, it's all about what's happening right now, it's coming true, or the Avatar, which it just came out and is the most explosive book I ever wrote, just go online now on Amazon, anywhere you can get it.
I should write books. You know, this is part of where I'm allergic to money. Like, if I were to write a book, I'd never sell it. I would just give it away, because I don't feel right selling what should be free, right? You know, if you understand a mystery, or if you have put together some hidden secret and are revealing it to the world,
Last things to see this.
Why would you hide that behind a paywall? Why would you put the the best of the best in a book that somebody had to buy? Like, see, this is where I'm allergic to money, to where I would much rather go on YouTube for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, telling you what should be in a book. But maybe I should put stuff into a book and then sell it and help the homeless. I don't know. I really do think I'm allergic to money.
Special biblical mystery tours that you can be part of. You can go on the Book of Revelation journey to the island of Patmos and more. The Alaskan and Caribbean cruises with prophecy and worship and revelation, and the Holy Land as soon as we can. Just go to JonathanCahnSpecialTours.com. That's JonathanCahnSpecialTours.com. Now, to get the free gifts and prophetic updates, be part of God's end time purposes, just go to hopeoftheworld.org. Again, that's hopeoftheworld.org. All right.
You know, Fury, you're right. I think I will start doing that. I think I'll start putting together all these resources and books and then let people tear them apart. I'm a big crowdsource individual. Like if somebody finds errors, I want them fixed. And if you have something to add, I want to add it to it. So that's a good idea. Maybe we should crowdsource it. Make it a living ebook, something that we can evolve over time. Not that we have a lot of time left. I mean, like we're looking at like 6 months probably. By all accounts, by everything that I've seen, I'm saying we've got like 6 to 7 months before like the harvest of the elites, and then before the wrath starts to take place.
On Saturday, February 28th, 2026, America and Israel commenced the attack on the leaders of the Islamic regime, the Republic of Iran. And it soon came out on that day that the attack had struck down the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and along with many of Iran's most powerful men. Could there be a mystery to all this, to when it happened, why it happened on that weekend? Well, it happened on a special weekend that happened to usher in a biblical holy day. And what was that holy day all about? That holy day has to do with the land of Persia. The land of Persia today is called Iran. So it happened on the weekend that ushers in the biblical holy day that centers on Iran, centers on the nation of Iran, and this goes back thousands of years to the Bible. But it's even more than that. That ancient biblical holy day centers on an evil government leader of Iran. And it's more. That ancient biblical holy day, ushered in on that weekend when it all happened, focuses on an evil governmental leader of Iran who is struck down, executed. None of it was an accident. I'm going to take you now deeper into the mystery. First, the supreme leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, was an evil man. He ruled Iran since 1989, 37 years. So when you think of the evil that has come to be Iran or from Iran, he was behind it. He was the supreme leader. Behind Iran's support of terrorism, the supreme leader was behind it. Behind the funding, the support of Hezbollah and the missiles it poured into Israel, he was behind it. He was behind Iran's own missile attack on Israel. He was behind Hamas. And thus he was behind October 7th. It couldn't have happened without him.
That's right.
So he was behind the slaughter of Israeli fathers, mothers, and children and babies, and all those youths at that music festival. He slaughtered thousands of his own people, Iranians.
One thing that he doesn't point out, and I still think I'm probably the only person pointing this out right now, let me know if you hear other people pointing this out. I don't like being the only one. It makes it so hard. But I think I'm the only one saying that I think October 7th is the abomination of desolation. By all accounts, Israel was surrounded, which according to Luke 21, that was, when you see Jerusalem surrounded, no, its desolation is near. I do believe that is the abomination of desolation. Even in Matthew 24, the wording describes the events that happened in the Al-Aqsa flood. I wish that more people would realize that and recognize that. We got to figure out a way to get this to be more mainstream, because I believe that these are the things to tie together, to bring together the Jewish and the Christians. You can see them starting to come together. There's definitely Christians who support Jerusalem and support the Jews, but there's also those who think that the Jews killed Jesus and are against them and stuff like that. To where now's the time for us to come together. Now's the time for for Israel and Christians to reconcile. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'll try not to interrupt a lot.
And it's no accident that when he died, the news came, the streets of Tehran, his own capital, was filled with celebration at the news of his death. And he was also...
Thank you, Dr. Lauren Holder. I appreciate that. No, I mean, I do appreciate that. I recognize that you guys come here faithfully night after night to listen to me go through the scripture and things that we're seeing. That I'm the only one speaking it out, though. Like, there's a lot of people who are talking about end time events, and so many of them are reiterating that narrative of just waiting for the Antichrist and waiting for the temple to be built and stuff like that, to where they're not recognizing the actual things. Does Widner? Oh, I haven't talked to Christian Widner in a while. Does he believe that that was the abomination of desolation? He would be one that I would believe that would have that one. Oh, I know who Christian Widner is. We've had him on the show before. I'll have to contact him, talk to him. Maybe we'll get him back on the show and talk.
Also seeking nuclear capabilities, which would have undoubtedly been used to kill countless numbers, masses of people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Messiah said, "He who lives by the sword dies by the sword." So he did. Now let me take you deeper into the mystery. What was the ancient holy day of that, ushered in by that weekend? It was Purim. That's the holy day that commemorates the striking down of an evil Iranian leader. Persia, Iran, same thing. In the Bible, it's Haman. But to find the beginning of this mystery, and it's amazing, we got to go back to Moses and the Exodus. The Israelites have just come out of Egypt. They've just been set free. And they're in the wilderness. An enemy comes to meet them and seeks their destruction, wars against them. The enemy is called Amalek. And the people of Amalek are called the Amalekites. They attack Israel, the Israelites, in the wilderness. First time Israel is being attacked by another nation. It would happen many times, but first time. And the Israelites fight. And with God's help, they prevail. Now listen to what God says at the end of that battle. And how could this actually have to do, this ancient battle, with what just happened? God says this: "Then the Lord said to Moses, write this in a book as a memorial, and recite it to Joshua, that I will utterly wipe out the memory of Amalek from under heaven." Moses then built an altar. He named it, "The Lord is my banner." And he said, because the Lord has sworn that he will have war, he will war against Amalek from generation to generation. The Lord will war, listen to that, against Amalek from generation to generation.
And there's a tie in there to Exodus 20, to where God says that he'll visit the iniquity of the fathers to the children, to the third and fourth generation of those who hate him. So there's definitely a parallel to where, to those who hate God, he will visit their iniquity to them, even to the third and fourth generation.
Which is amazing, because this battle of God and Amalek has come down even to our own times, even to that weekend, even involving Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Iran. What just happened? Now, centuries after that battle with Moses and the Israelites and the Amalekites, Amalek, the Israelites were again at war with the Amalekites. And the Israelites were led by King Saul, their first king. And they defeat the Amalekites. But Saul...
Whoa, what happened? Oh, yeah. I'm probably still broadcasting live on Rumble. For those of you who are still listening, on Rumble and X, apparently YouTube just struck the stream. Policy violations. All right, I'm going to give everybody time to switch over to Rumble, which I can see you guys switching over there. I can see the viewer count switch over to Rumble from YouTube. Here, let's put you on here. I wonder what they struck me for. Let's see. Your stream has been temporarily blocked. Oh, we detected video belonging to someone else. What? Is it because I'm reviewing Jonathan Cahn's video? You got to be kidding me. How many dude, I may have lost all respect for Jonathan Cahn if he literally struck our video for responding to him. And it's like, wasn't in any negative form. I was agreeing with what he's saying. Huh. Error. Your stream has been temporarily blocked because we detected video belonging to someone else. If you plan to continue, please ensure that the content owner has added your channel to their allow lists. Am I not allowed to Am I not allowed to comment on Jonathan Cahn's stream? You've got to be kidding me. Huh. That is so bizarre. What else can I find out? Well, this is new. It says we're still live on YouTube. I wonder if it was an automated system. I mean, are we not allowed to comment on other videos? Like, dude, we're only 7 minutes into his video. We regularly respond to 20-minute videos. Did Jonathan Cahn actively like, I don't want you talking about me. I don't want you promoting me. What the hell, dude? Oh, my Lord. Well. Huh. Connect your encoder to go live. It is connected. Am I back? Okay, we might be back. Sometimes they do copyright. Huh. Well, I guess I'll contact Jonathan Cahn and ask to be added to his list. Yeah, I see that they brought the stream back. I wonder if it was an accident. Like maybe it was just like an automated accidental thing. Well, I really wanted to review his video. I mean, I guess I can send you guys over to his video to watch it. But he did a great job of like tying together the Old Testament, tying together Esther, which we just studied Esther, with Magog. He has a list, it seems. YouTube did that. Well, I guess I'll contact him to see if I can get put on that list. In the meanwhile, I'm reluctant. So what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to switch over to Rumble? And okay, there's 5 of you who switched over to Rumble. Shall we try to get more of you guys to switch over to Rumble, and then I'll stop the stream on YouTube, and then we'll just continue on Rumble and X. Let me know what you guys want to do. I see another. So let me give you a link on Rumble. Where do I get the links at? You know what I'll do? I'm gonna put up a Two Witnesses live page again, and then we're gonna put Rumble. You guys can go there and watch the show. That way, we're not beholden to YouTube and their crazy policies. Rumble. Two Witnesses live. There you go. Live show.
Our doctor prescribed this new ED medication to David, and let me tell you,
sorry.
Wow.
And their crazy policies. There's an ad. Here you go. I don't know if this will let me post this. And maybe if I do it from YouTube, it'll let me post it. See if you guys can click that. Nope. There you go. There you go. See if you guys can click that. We'll, I guess we'll continue this over on Rumble. I'm trying to think, is there a way that I can split the stream so that YouTube just sees me? Let me think here. Can I split just me to go to YouTube? And then I can do that with audio. I can send the audio to Rumble. I may just turn off YouTube. We may just turn off YouTube and have it stop streaming. Yeah, you can also go to x.com. There's another way you can watch the stream. Okay, I see 9 of you guys over there. Rumble's actually, in a lot of ways, a better platform. They're having a hard time growing just because people are so used to YouTube. But, all right, well, for those of you who haven't switched over to Rumble yet, we're going to continue the stream over at Rumble, because I really do want to finish this video with Jonathan Kahn. Let's see, you're on Rumble. I think it may eventually be better to be on Rumble. Do they have ads on there? I'll have to figure out what happened. It's entirely possible it might have been a total mistake, because this has never happened before with any other video that we've commented on, and we've watched a lot of. Maybe I'm not stopping it often enough to comment on it for it to fall into the commentary category, or it could just be that because he's got such a big channel that he may have some setting in YouTube that prevents people from rebroadcasting his stream unless they're approved. So maybe I need to get on his list. We'll see how that goes. And sorry about that, Liz. Yeah, if you guys can move over to Rumble, I'm going to probably stop the stream on YouTube here in a minute so that we can finish this video. There's more people coming to YouTube. It's like the drama is bringing people to YouTube. I hate to stop the stream. The numbers keep going up. More people keep coming over to YouTube. Shoot, what to do? Let me go see if I can get added to. Do I have, let me see if I have a chat. Let me see if I can contact somebody at YouTube. There are resources. Where is that chat? It's right here. Why did my stream get stopped for watching another YouTuber's video? Sorry, guys, a little behind the scenes stuff going on here while we try and figure out why they stopped our stream, to see if it's safe to go back. Because you were playing copyright. Oh, you know what he did? His videos, there's a copyright. There is a feature in YouTube under the copyright content section. I bet you he copyrights his videos and it triggers this automatically. This might be something I have to look for in the future when we're doing the Addressing the House of Israel. All live streams are scanned for matches to third-party content, including other live broadcasts. When third-party content is identified, a placeholder image may replace your stream and you'll receive a warning to stop. If the content remains, your live stream may be temporarily interrupted or terminated. Your stream can also be stopped if you receive a copyright strike. All right, so to get around that, you have to get on his allowed list. All right, well. What a bummer, dude. All right, let me see if I have something else that we can do to finish out YouTube, and then we'll end the night listening to Jonathan Cahn, maybe. I don't know. Give me a minute to figure this out. Uno momento, por favor. More people keep coming to YouTube. I don't know. Whatever it is we're doing is attracting people to YouTube. The drama of copyright strikes is bringing people from YouTube. Oh yeah, I could give you privileges over there on Rumble too, Fury. We'll do that later. Too many things. juggling too many things. Let me see if I have anything else to address. Nothing that's in the same vein. I really want to finish the Jonathan Cahn video. So I think what we'll do is everybody's had a chance to go over to Rumble. We're just going to end the stream on YouTube, and then we'll switch over to Rumble and continue it there. So everybody let me know once you get there. Yeah. Sorry about that. Learning about the YouTube content system. All right, how do I turn off the stream? Okay, here we go. I think most people have moved over to Rumble. If you haven't, I apologize. Thank you so much. For those of you who may not make it over to Rumble, if you have an issue over at Rumble, thank you so much for joining us. Do make sure to hit the like button on this video, even despite YouTube's copyright videos. Otherwise, last warning, go over to Rumble. That's where we're going to continue the video. Because I really do want to finish watching this video with Jonathan Cahn. So, all right, here we go. I am going to like button on this video. Let's see if this works. I think if I disconnect it, the stream will continue, and anybody there can still chat. But I want to end the stream. So maybe what I could do is come back to YouTube after we're done with the stream for any stragglers. All right, here we go.